ESPN released a 10-pick mock draft done by NFL scouts, and they had a pretty interesting pick for the Tennessee Titans at number 7. Let's talk about it here on Titans Today. I am your host, Jace Andrews. We do appreciate you hanging out with us on this fine Wednesday afternoon. Now, obviously, 7 overall pick is pretty nice. Who would you pick, though? Because we see a lot of mock drafts, we talk a lot of different names, but I want you, the fans, to decide this one. Get down in the comment section. Is it Joe Alt? Is it Malik Neighbors? Is it Brock Bowers? Is it trading back? Well, let me know down in the comment section who you would pick at number 7. Let's start here with the first overall pick in this Scouts mock draft. Pretty obvious. Caleb Williams. Not going to be a question mark there. At this point, the Bears could announce it now, and no one will be surprised. 2 and 3, though, are questionable. Drake May is going to go before Jaden Daniels, but don't worry, Jaden Daniels just goes at number 3 to New England. So a couple new quarterbacks in Washington and with the Patriots. And then Arizona selects probably the best wide receiver in the draft we've seen in a long time, Marvin Harrison Jr. And then number 5, we got, Joe Alt. The offensive tackle goes to the Los Angeles Chargers. That's not good. That's not the right way that was supposed to go. The Titans were supposed to get Joe Alt. That was the way it was supposed to go. Well, guess what? That's a part of this mock draft, and I think that's why it's fun to go and talk about it. Because I think he could be an all-pro right away. I mean, he is the obvious choice to me. I don't know why you are not picking him if he is available there at pick number 7. Now, however, if he's not, that causes for a couple different options. Because we've heard the talk about Malik Neighbors, but, well, he goes number 6 in this mock. Well, now what? Those are the 2 guys that you absolutely wanted to have on your team at pick number 7. Those are the 2 guys that you have said countless times, or at least been reported. If Joe Alt's not there, you're probably going to get Malik Neighbors. And if Malik Neighbors isn't there, you're trading back. So I would trade back. Listen, I don't think this scenario is going to happen. I have the feeling that Joe Alt will be there at 7, and they will take him. However, there is the option that he is not. The thing is, you need an offensive lineman. Even Malik Neighbors, I'm a little bit questionable on, just because you are so much in need of a left tackle. You are so much in need of really just any offensive lineman in general. I mean, obviously, you've got your center figured out with Lloyd Cushenberry. You got your left guard figured out with Peter Skoronski in theory, but you need some extra help there, and I just feel as though Alt or another tackle has to be the decision made. Now, what do, though? They do not trade back. They pick Rome Odunze, number 7 here, the wide receiver from Washington. And, of course, Quinyon Mitchell goes to the Atlanta Falcons. But a Rome Odunze is just interesting to me. And I got to be honest, I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that pick at all because I understand. Is a wide receiver a necessity on the Tennessee Titans? Yes. Is that somebody that I would go pick, though, to help that necessity? No, I don't think it's worth it. I like Malik Neighbors more, and I don't think Rome Odunze is the guy that I would like to have. Here's what I would do in this situation. Obviously, when Neighbors is gone, Alt, who is my first choice, is gone. I'm trading back. And I know there's a lot of talk with the Raiders. They have already been talking about trading up. Here's one that I have seen floating around the interwebs that could potentially be made. A 2024 first-round pick being sent to the Raiders. You're number 7 overall. You get back their number 13 overall, plus their second-round pick. And how about you? I think that's a pretty nice trade. You're getting 2 second-round picks now, and you have still a first-round pick to potentially get that offensive tackle that you are wanting to get in a J.C. Latham, Talisi Fuagara, Olu Fashanu still on the board. Now, why not Rome? Because I'm sure you're sitting here saying, Jace, these stats are insane. 1,600 yards, 92 receptions, 13 touchdowns. And I agree. He is very good. However, I think at this point you have to understand that as bad as it sounds and as stinky as it is to pick 2 tackles or pick 2 offensive linemen in back-to-back drafts, you have to. Now, of course, an NFC West scout was the one who picked this pick. He said this on why he chose Romo Odunze. Quote, I wanted a tackle here, but with Alt off the board, it's too rich to reach for Penn State's Olu Fashanu, and drafting a right tackle doesn't help them. So this is a little best player available, but also a need, end quote. Grade the pick of Rome Odunze. Maybe I'm off base. Maybe y'all like this pick. Maybe it's something that y'all would like to see. A, B, C, D, or F. A means it's a good pick. F means it's a bad pick. C is the average, and everything in between, well, you can do the math on that. But again, what about trading back? Did they mention anything about that? They did. I'll tell you about that in just a minute here. But before that, I'll tell you about one of our amazing sponsors, PrizePicks. Now, I know football season is over, and obviously it stinks. But hey, the action on the hardwood is heating up like nothing else before. We got the NBA play-in games tonight. The playoffs are starting really, really soon with them, if you consider play-ins playoffs, and they started now. However, America's #1 fantasy sports app is where you can turn for your hoops knowledge to go get some serious cash here with PrizePicks. Check it out at prizepicks.com/CLNS, and using code CLNS, you're going to get that first deposit match of up to $100. We got the Heat. We got the Sixers tonight. I've got a 4-man pick here on PrizePicks. More on the half a steal for Haywood Highsmith. Gotten that mark in the past couple games. I'm going to go with that one again. Jimmy Butler, listen, playoff Jimmy is just a different animal. Go more there. Same thing with Tyler Hero. Played really well in the Eastern Conference Finals last year and in the Finals last year. So go more there. And then Joel Embiid, more on his Goblin. A little bit less. He should hit that one pretty easy, though. It's going to be fun. Adds a lot of excitement to the sports viewing experience, and it makes it so much more fun to watch these playing games. Obviously, playoffs and play-ins are really fun in general, but this adds another level to it. Quick withdrawals, easy gameplay, and an enormous selection of players and stat types where it makes PrizePicks the #1 daily fantasy sports app. Once again, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match of up to $100. Shout out to PrizePicks. It's daily fantasy sports made easy. All right, the NFC West Scout is back saying this about trading back. Quote, "We would definitely be on the phone trying to trade out if this is how the board ran. And it really could depend on how desperate the Vikings get to move up," end quote. Okay, so the Vikings. All right, well, what would that trade look like? How would the Titans go about trading to the Minnesota Vikings, who definitely are a team who wants to trade up and would really like to end up with J.J. McCarthy? Here's a pretty nasty trade I kind of constructed. I think this one of the ones that has been a little bit crazier of mine. You trade your first-round pick and your second-round pick to get both of the Vikings' first-round picks at number 11 and number 23, and you also get the 2025 third-round pick from the Minnesota Vikings. That way, you're getting back in that third round after trading that pick to the Kansas City Chiefs in the L'Jarius Sneed trade. This would be a big trade for the Vikings, I think, is the bigger thing, because they traded for those 2 first-round picks, and I think in theory, they want to just move one of those to get up for J.J. McCarthy. They're kind of in a spot, where they could get him at 11. But for the Titans situation, I look at this, and I think this is a win-win situation. If Alt and Malik are gone, which are the 2 that I would accept being picked at number 7, you can trade back with a bunch of teams who are desperate to get J.J. McCarthy, because honestly, after J.J., I don't think people like Bo Nix. I don't think people like people behind that. I personally consider Michael Penix better than J.J. McCarthy, but I understand the injury history and all that stuff and the age difference. It's something to be worth note. And so you're looking at this and saying, okay, we're either going to get Alt or Malik Neighbors, or we're going to have a potential trade with some of these teams. Obviously, the Vikings, Broncos, and Raiders here are definitely ones that could move up for McCarthy or move up in general. The Giants, who picked number 6, also could take J.J. McCarthy, which I think if that happens, you're probably good to get Malik Neighbors or Joe Alt. The worst case scenario here is that 1 through 3 is quarterbacks, at 4 is Marvin Harrison, at 5 is Joe Alt, and then at 6 is J.J. McCarthy, and you get stuck with Malik Neighbors. And I say stuck with, I'm not going to mind that. I mean, I think that's the worst thing that could happen. Because otherwise, Alt or Malik will be there at 7, and if not, trade back. 3 of those teams you can get trades from. 3 of the 4 who have been rumored to be interested in trading up / going out for J.J. McCarthy are there to say, hey, we'd like to move up. We'd like to go up there and make sure we get J.J. Now, obviously, there has to be some sort of divide here because there are teams behind the Tennessee Titans that probably would be willing to trade as well. And there's not many people behind the Titans until pick 11 where J.J. McCarthy would, I think, be picked, as that's where our quarterback is the most needed with the Minnesota Vikings. So it's going to be an interesting scenario. Just about this idea, though, how do you feel about it? Do you want the Titans to trade back in the draft, or is that something you would rather not see? Type Y for yes if you would like to see them trade back. Type in for no if you're thinking, Jace, I am good. I do not want to see that happen. Let me know down in the comments section. If you do trade back, I still think you have to get an offensive tackle. And so there's 3 ways you can do this. Fashanu is really good and should be there at pick 11, 12, or 13. I would be hesitant for 13, but given you're trading the Raiders, that's where they would probably pick an offensive lineman, so I feel like one of these guys would be available. J.C. Latham has one we haven't talked about. I know that people like him in a lot of ways, but he actually hasn't been mentioned too much on this show. I think we need to start mentioning him as a potential option, especially if the Titans do trade back. And then Tuisi Fuaga is something that could be a very good one. He was actually one of the guys that I initially presented with Olu and Joe Alt. In my mind, if you trade back, these are all good options. I like Olu, I like JC, I like Talisi. And on top of it, you're getting an extra pick out of it. Obviously, with the Vikings, you're getting 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. That's a really good trade. And yes, I know maybe it's a little rich. PFF took it, and I know PFF is somewhat, okay. We'll kind of think about that. But again, you're getting very good options here. The extra pick, though, is what does it for me, because you think about this trade, and you think about everything that's going on with the Tennessee Titans and the way they are really rebuilding this team. Obviously, the L'Jarius Sneed trade is huge. But that extra pick, wherever it may be, let's say it's in the first round, that's going to help you so much. Because you get a J.C. Latham, you get an Olu Fashanu, you get a Talisi Fuaga. Then you can go out there and you can potentially, at pick number 23, you go and get a wide receiver. You go and get a defensive end. I'm telling you, I think unless Alt is there at 7, you trade back. That's just my opinion. However, guess what? That's about a week until we find out what happens. And Ran Carthon, you got some time to make that solving. So we will make sure to keep you updated all the time through here on Titans Today. We do appreciate you hanging out with us. And again, hit that subscribe button because we will make sure to keep you updated on all things Titans Draft Central. And so for now, we do appreciate you hanging out with us. We will see you next time. Peace out.